Right, welcome back guys. We are in the lab, UltraFlex podcast room, and today I want to talk to you about training hard and what it truly means. At the moment, we've got a lot of debates online between people basically having petty arguments between exercise selection and not training hard enough or training too hard. So I really think we need to have an educated discussion about this. First and foremost, I will always tell every single client, every single person that I try to help online, the priority in the gym is always effort. However, the effort that you can give will differ depending on your skill level at the gym. You cannot simply expect someone to operate at all-out intensity when they haven't learned how to execute a lift correctly and safely. You've got a lot of these guys that are trying to argue that people are not training hard. They are simply riddled with injuries. Now, common sense says, why would someone listen to someone who has had every single injury known to man and has had to potentially stop their careers or are even unable to train at this moment in time effectively because of the injuries that they have had in training? Now, my philosophy on training is pretty simple. Effort, intensity, execution, and exercise setup all go hand in hand. One variable without the other makes the whole thing completely fall apart. And this is where we'll have to use our common sense. If you want longevity in your training career, as a bodybuilder, as an athlete, you have to make sure that whatever you do in the gym is done without taking unnecessary risk. There is always going to be a risk training and operating at high level with all-out intensity. However, that risk is always minimized with your approach that you take towards your execution, exercise setup, and even exercise selection. Even small things like recovery modalities and deloads appropriately, they all have a massive effect on what you do and how you do it with your program as a whole, longevity of your program, and how effective your program is. So the next time you actually go on social media and you've got an influencer that just preaches one thing, I would err with caution if they don't have an open mind to either new movements or any new methodologies that do tend to come out. Now, I have an open mind to everything. I do change my opinion on things sometimes, especially if I see something work better than I have done in past. I may change my point of view on certain things, but in grand scheme of things, my principles remain the same. My principles don't change that much. The base principles are train with as much effort as you can physically give, train as accurately as you physically can, train with good execution and exercise setup, and make sure that you manage your training correctly so you're able to progress. And that comes along with managing your exercise volume and managing your training cycles correctly with appropriate deloads and taking time away from the gym when it's needed as well. It all plays a massive role. So don't just be dogmatic in your approach. Have an open mind. Just because something worked 20 years ago or 30 years ago doesn't mean that something new may come into play now that may be even beneficial. So keep an open mind to new exercises, keep an open mind to new approaches, and most importantly, don't sit in one camp when it comes to training, nutrition, or even supplementation. Keep an open mind. That's what I can always say to people. And that way, ever since I've dropped my ego and kept an open mind towards different approaches, I've been able to develop as an athlete, as a coach. And that has seen me progress in my work as a coach and in my own progression as an athlete tremendously over the past 2 years. So please learn from my mistakes. Don't just have a closed off mind to anything that you see on the internet. And maybe there's a better way. You don't know until you try it. And the beauty of bodybuilding is there's no rules to this, right? You can try absolutely anything in this world, any method, any training method, any diet, any supplement protocol, and see if it works. And you know what? It might work out better for you. It might keep you more injury-free, and in turn, it might lead to more progress. So guys, keep an open mind, and let's end this debate of having to be in a certain camp with training, with nutrition, or supplementation. It doesn't have to be that way. Keep an open mind and try different things and see what works best for you. Guys, thank you so much. A little bit of an education one for you today, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it. And comment below and let me know what your thoughts are regarding the age-old debate on what's the most effective, what should I do now? I mean, there's so much information out there. I think sometimes people can get confused. So remember guys, effort, execution, setup, and smart management of your training is key.